Now, it seems like Elon Musk has a new fight on his hands, but this one might be tougher. In a series of tweets yesterday, Elon hinted towards the fact that Apple is not going to be spending advertising dollars on the platform. And that's a big hit because Apple is one of the biggest advertisers on Twitter. And we've already seen how many advertisers have stopped advertising on the platform itself. So when Apple stops spending its money there, it's going to be much harder for Twitter to make money. But it gets worse. Elon also mentioned the fact that Apple is considering removing Twitter from iOS. Now, if that happens, it'll be massive. If you look at where Twitter gets its traffic, 80% of it comes from mobile users. That means they're coming from a phone or coming from a tablet. And considering the fact that in the United States, Apple has the majority of smartphone and tablet users, yeah, that's going to be a tough one because that means that if you just sign up for Twitter, you're not going to be able to download the Twitter app. All right, but if you already have Twitter on your phone or on your tablet, you could still use it, but you're not going to get any updates. So wait, so Apple is pulling its advertising dollars off of Twitter and is potentially going to remove the app from the platform. Well, at that point, I think Twitter's done. I mean, I don't know how they can survive that. I mean, I give a lot of credit to Elon Musk because he is a very smart businessman. And he's also the wealthiest person in the world. But he's just under $200 billion. And yeah, that's a lot of money, but it's not the $2.65 trillion that Apple is worth. So in this fight, Apple is the 600-pound gorilla. And it's not the first time they've done something like this. If you remember, Apple put out a series of updates that looked like it just targeted Facebook and the way that Facebook tracks people and utilizes that data for advertising. Apple released a series of updates that made privacy even more important. And those new privacy features took away $12 billion off of Facebook's revenue. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Now you might be thinking, is Apple really going to consider taking Twitter off the platform? Well, they've done this before. They've taken off Parler, which was another social media application, and they took it off for a while. But there's a bigger app that they took off, and that's Fortnite. There was a big conflict between Epic, the creators of Fortnite, and Apple. And it all stems from the part that Apple gets a 30% cut of all revenue made from in-app purchases. And this is something that Elon mentions in a bunch of his tweets, talking about the hidden tax that Apple imposes. But it's not really a hidden tax because it's been known about since day one. Steve Jobs mentioned years ago the fact that there's a 30-70 split between Apple and iOS developers. Epic was generating about $1 billion of revenue from iOS, which means that about $300 million was going to Apple. And Epic tried to find a workaround, and because of that, they were removed off the platform. So this fight between Elon Musk and Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the situation at Twitter has already been a huge mess, with the workforce hovering about 2,000 people, down from about 7,500. Advertisers are leaving the platform left and right. New features are being rolled out and rolled back. Yeah, it can't be easy working at Twitter. I can't even imagine what it must be like to be a developer there right now. It's got to be a chaotic environment. Now, Elon Musk is talking about the fact that he wants Twitter to be all about free speech. And there's a big conversation and debate on what does free speech mean. Does it mean you can say whatever you want to say without regard for anybody else? Or are there responsibilities that we have? I think the majority of us want what's called responsible free speech. But what does that even mean? I guess that's what we're all trying to figure out. But as it stands right now, if Twitter loses Apple as an advertiser, it's going to be much harder for Elon to make the interest payments on the purchase of Twitter. Remember, that's $1 billion in interest every single year. And he's thinking about taking Twitter to be a completely subscription-based model, or at least get some of its revenue from subscriptions. But in reality, when we're talking about a platform like Twitter, are the majority of your users willing to spend $8 per month just to tweet? And will that $8 per month from the user replace the advertising dollars that would have been generated elsewhere? I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Elon's going to have to try to find a way to make Twitter profitable in a different way. Now, if anybody could do it, if anybody could pull it off, it's probably Elon Musk. I mean, the guy's taking us to Mars. But yeah, it might be easier to get us to Mars than it is to try to fix the situation at Twitter. Only time can tell at this point. All right, so what are your thoughts? Do you think that Apple's really going to remove Twitter from the iOS platform? Or does this push Elon into a corner where he has to decide what the next step of Twitter is? He even said that if Twitter gets removed from the Apple platform, that he's going to go all in on the smartphone market and make himself more of a direct competitor to Apple. I mean, think about it. He already has the Starlink technology technology. His cell phones could work with direct connections to Starlink. It's possible that he can make an impact in the smartphone industry. But now that's really taking this battle to the next level. Alright, so maybe he doesn't do that. So what does he do? I don't know. We'll just have to wait to see. And I'm sure that there'll be more headlines in the coming days and weeks about what's the next big drama over at Twitter. Alright, so share your thoughts. Does Apple remove Twitter from iOS? Does Apple completely stop advertising on Twitter? And if so, is this the end of Twitter? Leave your comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification icon. And as always, thanks for watching and happy coding.